Last one, Nick. Come on. Nice smooth pull.
Rushing the bar down every time.
You got it. You got it.
Bar's loaded.
Finish off strong, man. Come on.
Bar's loaded. Bar's loaded.
Bar's loaded, sorry.
Come on, Nick. Last one.
All right.
Big pull. Big pull. Jump. Everything you got. Up. Up. No hit. Up. Good. Good lift right there. Woo!
Nicholas Wright, please come to the scores table.
Last one. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Lock those knees. Come on. Yep. Never turned it up before me, you know.
And then like from here on out, like I really want. I started working on it before me.
I want to give a huge shout out to Adam Hamden. This kid is a monster, and I just recently learned about his YouTube channel, and I'm glad that I did. I already subscribed to him. At 17 years old, he's already able to squat 600 pounds and has some crazy numbers on his YouTube channel. It's in the info box below, so click on it and subscribe. You will be motivated to lift. At 17 years old, he's already qualified for the IPF Worlds and will be traveling overseas next year to compete in the IPF Worlds. I have to say, having this dude backstage, helping me out, guiding me, assisting me, filming my lifts, and then running backstage to help me decide what number to tell the judges for my next attempt was a lifesaver. It was a godsend. Having somebody that seasoned and experienced, just having my back during the whole meet really helped with boosting my confidence because I was nervous, I'll admit it. My first meet, a brand new sport, brand new environment, I was very nervous, but having him definitely helped, so I want to give a big thank you to you, Adam, my man. Made a great friend that day. Thank you. So just as a fun fact and an update for those of you who have been following my channel, I did buy the medium SBD knee sleeves for better spring, and I planned on using them for this meet, but I decided not to. I used my regular larges because I learned that there's really no difference. The tighter knee sleeves don't give you more spring, they're just way more uncomfortable to squat in. So the USAPL did a phenomenal job of running this meet. It was set up very professionally and ran very efficiently. There were digital computer screens in the back room connected to a live feed, constantly updating you on how many competitors were up until it was your turn, which competitor was currently lifting, and it even listed the weight that they were lifting in case you wanted to go head-to-head with another competitor within your weight class. Now that obviously did not apply to me. I was just there as a rookie trying to bang out my best numbers, but it was definitely a very professional setup. The back room, the warm-up room, was pristine. It was organized, and the camaraderie there was amazing. Everybody was super friendly, super humble, and very supportive. Everybody was down to help each other no matter how strong or big that they were. It was amazing. And the warm-up equipment was the same exact equipment that was used on the platform. So there was no sudden change in equipment from when you were warming up to when you actually went on the platform to lift, which is a big benefit. Warming up with the 200-pounders was awesome. I was actually very excited for this. Not to say that I'm stronger than any of the 181ers or 165ers, because there was some 181ers that were way stronger than me, and I'm sure there was some 165ers that were stronger than me. I didn't see all the lifts. But you know, with the big boys, the 200-pound class and up, it's going to be everybody is going to be stronger than me. And everybody there is going to be warming up with some big-ass weight. And I personally get my best lifts when I'm training with people that are stronger than me. It lights a fire under my ass. So that was a good benefit. These Alico plates were funky, man. This right here on my back is 275-ish pounds. It looks like 135 pounds. It's hilarious. It's really weird. It was also really funny to watch a bunch of Americans try to figure out the metric system, like myself included. We all had like our conversion apps out or our calculators out trying to convert it into pounds. It was really funny. But at the end of it, we just basically knew the roundabout neighborhood of what we were lifting. Like I knew this was like 365-ish pounds. Also, guys, if you have headphones, use them, wear them, do everything you would normally do in the gym. Get into the gym zone. It'll help you out tremendously.
I'm like, I got my car and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, oh, that's
No more changes.
Make sure you stay seated anytime you're not warming up or lifting to conserve energy. Energy conservation is key no matter how excited or jittery or antsy you may be. One piece of advice I would give any new powerlifter based on what I learned from this meet would be to envision the weight you're about to lift in gym plates. What I mean by that is I opened up with 405 pounds, but with these thin little Alico plates, 405 looks more like 225. So I did not mentally brace myself for 405 pounds, and when I finally got underneath the bar, it was a bit of a shock to me. It was a lot heavier than I expected it to be. So for my second attempt at 440 pounds, I envisioned what that would look like at my actual gym. I pictured 4 fat 45-pound plates, a 10, a 5, a 2.5 on each side, and I mentally braced myself for that. And it worked amazingly. As far as mental preparation goes, another piece of advice I would give you is make sure you stay on top of your turn. Be ready to lift ahead of time. For my second attempt, I was off somewhere in the warm-up room, listening to music, not paying attention, and they called me, said, "Nick, you're up now." So I rushed on out to the platform, and that's when you saw me making stupid mistakes, like not rolling my knee sleeve down and stuff. And that can mentally throw you off, especially if it's your third attempt. So make sure you're ready ahead of time. Pay attention to the order you're in. For my third attempt, I was very, very well prepared ahead of time. I was focused on getting that squat up, and when they announced that it was going to be a state record, I can't even remember doing this lift. It was literally just a blackout blur of pure adrenaline and confidence. I just knew that I had to finish it off, and I finished it off. Very happy with it. So now it's time for the bench. I busted out the Hyde pre-workout, and I busted out the smelling salts, neither of which I use for squats. Squats being like a full body movement really get your heart rate up on its own, so you don't want a whole lot of stimulants or I'll still end up puking, at least I will. But for benching, I can take a lot of stimulants and the ammonia tablets beforehand. Warming up, man, I was very, very confident. I was excited because the warm-ups felt like butter. This is, I don't know, close to 200 pounds. Again, man, these kilo plates are hard for us Americans. I don't even know what this weight was, but man, I tell you, everything I did felt like butter in the warm-up room. This right here is about 225, and that's what I'm talking about. It doesn't look like 225 at all. So this is why I recommend, like, really just visualize what the weight you're doing looks like in regular gym plates. That helped me anyway. Right here is 285-ish pounds that I did for my final single. Felt like butter, but that bar also felt a lot easier than the bar using the platform. I don't know if it was any lighter or not. So I came out overly confident for my warm-up with 300 pounds. It was actually 297 pounds to be exact, but it felt slightly heavier than I expected it to. I almost jumped the gun on dropping the bar before the command, and of course it came up nice and easy, but it felt slightly heavier than I expected it to. I don't know if it was just because the bar that they used was very different from the warm-up bar I used. Whatever, you roll with the punches, right? You adapt. So 330 pounds for my second attempt went up nice and smooth as well. It went up strong. It was a little too slow for a 350-pound bench, I decided, and you can see Adam right there helping me decide what numbers to put in for my third attempt. We decided to cut it down to about 340 pounds. It was like 343 to be exact. And man, I thought I had it. I was sure of it. The bottom pause felt strong. The initial lift felt strong. Even when I got to the point of stalling out and sticking, I still thought I was going to be able to grind through it, but no cigar. I was very surprised, but I wasn't discouraged about it because at least it wasn't anything that I did wrong. I simply just didn't have it that day, so not much you can do about it. In my last video, you see Ari filming Adam explaining that he thinks I opened up too light. If I had opened up heavier, I would have adapted into a heavier weight better. So, I mean, these are just some examples of like new beginner mistakes that I made during this meet. Not a big deal. I learned from it. There's my amazingly supportive girlfriend Ariana holding onto my belt, my salts, and checking up on the computer to see where we're at and how much time I have left before I lift again. Man, the amount of support that girl gave me was amazing. It's something I never would have dreamed I'd ever find in a relationship. I mean, she just had my back so much that whole entire day. She even forced me to stop what I was doing, sit down, and put on my slingshot compression cuff because the tendonitis in my patellar tendon was hurting bad. It was hurting bad since squats, but you know, me being a male and all, I was like, forget it, just fight through the pain. But she was like, no, Nick, sit down, put your damn compression cuff on. And I'm glad she did. It made all the difference in the world. It took away the pain while I warmed up. Again, amazing camaraderie. These dudes let me jump into their deadlift session and allowed me to warm up. That guy to the right there with the long sleeve shirt on, I believe he's the 181 winner. If not, he's friends with the 181 winner. I forget. But he ended with a 1,420 pound total, which is amazing. It's a total I hope for in the future. So big congrats to the 181 winner. Here I am testing out my belt, making sure I have it at the correct notch of tightness. You want your belt to be tight enough that it supports and braces you, obviously, but you want it loose enough where you can still get a good air of breath into your gut and allow your gut to expand fully. So I'm warming up here with, I believe, 405-ish pounds, and then I ended with 480-ish pounds for 2 singles. Deadlifts were something that I was kind of getting into my own head about and overthinking a little bit. Ever since my lower back injury, I have a lot of fear that I think holds myself back with this exercise. In other words, I'm kind of a little bitch when it comes to deadlifts. So I'm hoping by admitting this to you guys and just identifying it, it'll help me to eventually get over that mental barrier. But you could hear the difference just between lifts. Like, before the bench and the squat, I was nothing but confident. I'm going to crush this. I'm going to kill this. But before deadlifts, I was saying out loud to them, like, I don't know how this 501 deadlift's going to go. And Dan and Ari are like, dude, why? Like, you do 500 for reps in the gym all the time. And I was worrying about the littlest details, like the helical bars. What if they're too stiff? And what if it affects my pulling technique? And wah. And I imagine that's probably what threw off this lift here, overthinking my technique and everything. And just the hesitation made me hitch upon pulling up my second attempt of 530. So finally I snapped out of it. I got confidence in me, and I pulled that 530 up again for my third attempt pretty easily. And some people even told me that, you know, if I can just get over this fear, if I can get the confidence in myself for deadlifts like I have with squats and bench, I could probably pull a 550-pound deadlift from deep inside of me on my best day. So it's definitely something to work on. And I'm only being extra critical right now upon looking back at this footage. It's all about identifying and improving on. But don't let it get twisted. I was nothing but ecstatic after that pull. I was very happy with my deadlifts. It was still a PR, the most I've ever pulled, and I was nothing but smiles. So after my lift, I had to go get drug tested. Now, they only drug test the top 10 percentile, so I knew that was a good sign, but I still didn't get my hopes up of placing, especially with the big boys. Apparently, they had the names of the top 5 on the screen, but the way they lined us up, we were behind the big screen, so we couldn't actually see that. So I'm sitting there, and I hear them call out 5th place, who was probably like in the bathroom or something because he wasn't there to step up and take the medal. You see us clapping for him, though, either way. So once they said 5th, I was like, okay, well, there goes my chances. If I didn't get 5th, I didn't get anything. Next thing I know, they're calling 4th, and I hear my name, Nick Wright. I was like, what? And as you can see, like, I didn't really know what to do. I kind of hesitated. I didn't know to step forward. I didn't know where to stand. It really caught me by surprise because, again, I had no plans of placing with the 200-pounders. So I was quite happy.
Just 'cause I figure a lot of you guys are probably wondering this, being my first meet. Yes, I most definitely plan to compete more. I'm hooked. And I never really said this because, obviously, it's a bold thing to say. And, like, you know, I have such baby numbers right now, so it's hard to take me seriously, but I do want to become the best in my weight class for a natural. Like, just at some point down the line, I want to be just the strongest natural dude on YouTube within my weight. You know, that's the goal overall. I got a long road ahead of me, and I got a lot of work to put in, but I'm amped and I'm excited. My total is somewhere in the 1300s, which I'm happy with. And I believe Candido, his first powerlifting meet, he also told us somewhere in the 1300s. So, you know, after about 8 or 9 months of powerlifting, I'm very happy with that. And I'm super excited to really buckle down now. Start some conjugate training, really tackle my weak points. I'm hungry. I want to work my way up to becoming nationally qualified and then work my way up to becoming qualified for Worlds. And I just want to become the best. So there will be much more powerlifting in my life. But really, honestly, I could not have asked for a better first meet. So happy with it.
A nice humble beginning that I'm very proud of. So plan to progress, do much better. Big congratulations to everybody else who competed at this meet.